I mean, the whole thing has been a very big unconference, but now I think, we really love to pick it up a notch and just really hear from you. So I can't believe that we're now at the end of this. I mean, in fact, this is now the beginning of the virtual Vision Weekend. No, first it's the beginning of the party, then it's the beginning of virtual Vision Weekend, and then it's the beginning of France Vision Weekend, and then it's the beginning of the entire next year's program. But now we're at this point in time in the journey, and really the journey is the goal. So at this point, I would love to hear from you. Yesterday we really cast a very, very wide net across a variety of different technologies, right? And today we had a few deep dives in a few specific areas. And so who here has learned something from another discipline that they are going home with today?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I see lots of people. Who here has made a new friend or collaborator from another discipline that they weren't even sure which was relevant to them? All right, would anyone like to perhaps share a highlight? I think, it would be really nice if we, just all take a bit of a breather and just think about, okay, is there anything in particular? What was your highlight this weekend? What was one thing that you thought was really special? Creon.
There were so many highlights, but and there'll be more. But the one that just happened really struck me. So we did this space panel, not panel, like just round table outside, and at first there was just a handful of people, and it was cold, and I was like, oh, nobody's going to be interested in this, and then it just grew and grew and turned into this really nice conversation where I think everybody learned a lot. I spoke too much, but I learned a lot, and so exceeded expectations, and it was just one of many. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? A highlight to share, guys? Yeah, a highlight on here, Mac.
My top highlight was probably meeting Alex K. Chen, who is well known online, and he's unbelievably full of life and engaged in.
Is he here? He's been chatting
Yeah.
about.
But yeah, that was quite a trip and so fun to meet him.
All right. Any other highlights? Anything you'd like to share?
Yep.
Yes, another one here, Brewster.
Talking with Angela about pharaonic era Egyptian technology.
Okay, here we go. So many things were happening. Okay, just call it out from there.
A lot of the story of science and engineering over the past century has been about breaking into particular silos to push forward reductionist policies that are really important and get us in basic science and basic engineering advanced. But we're entering an age of synthesis. We're entering an age where we're recombining things that otherwise have been very disparate for a while. Getting to do this kind of transdisciplinary work in venues like this and meeting people who are working at the intersections of spaces and cross-pollinating different concepts is so crucial to our growth, but also the growth of good futures like this. So this was very special in that kind of sense. I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
And it's so fun!
It's so fun! It's so fun! I know, it's so fun. Okay, maybe one more. Anyone wants to go? Yes.
Going off what the gentleman just said, the fact that we have, sort of like we need to cross interdisciplinary boundaries, and the fact that our existing structures don't quite do that, it was really interesting to see that there are specific direct work on reinventing the institutions as a field of its own that needs to be studied more than just the existing disciplines. I found that very interesting.
Very cool. Yes, we went all the way meta. Oh my God, Rosie. I don't want to strangle you.
This is a weird place for me to come. I'm a filmmaker. I'm about to make a TV show about imaginary illnesses, and I'm like, why am I going to this? Why am I going through all this? Why am I pestering you to let me come? Thank you for letting me come. I'm very, 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 very glad that I did. On a mundane level, I just found out something I'd been suspecting, which is that there are different mental illnesses in different nations that have different political and financial systems. And ooh, what a surprise. And of course there are, because the show is about, it's called The Human Conditions, and it's about the conditions under which we're expected to be human and the resulting mental illnesses that mean that 1 in 6 Americans are on psychiatric medication, something that maybe should never have happened. And something that I think this group of people is equipped to maybe change by changing the affordances that human beings live by and giving them a different way that they can operate. I think they maybe could cure us all, or heal us all might be a better expression.
Okay, lovely. All right, so I think that, as I already briefly mentioned, I think Foresight is really trying to do 3 things, right? One is trying to support early stage stuff that is really too niche, for others to really support it yet. And then at the time that more legacy institutions can start caring, we've kind of done a really good job. The second thing is trying to get more interdisciplinary work happen. And that is really, really hard. People often say that they want it, but then it's actually really uncomfortable to do. I'm a generalist. I don't mind asking super questions all the time, but if you have a deep expertise in a field, then I think it's really uncomfortable to get out there and get into an entirely new field and be like, I'm a noob now, teach me, and this is really hard, but we have to get going at this, because I think ultimately this is where the most interesting work will happen in the next 5 to 10 years, right? And all of you guys should go out there again and, should go and specialize again, right? This is what you're really good at. And I think what Foresight is somewhat good at is holding a space across disciplines and getting people together who we have a hunch for that could collaborate in the next 5 to 10 years. Because I think, we won't have singularity hit quite then yet, maybe not in 5 to 10 years. But so I think it's really, really important still until then that we get more cross-disciplinary research happen. I think the third thing that we all share here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that we share a deeply optimistic vision about the future, right? So I've heard so much optimism here today, and I think that that's what you get if you're at the intersection, because you suddenly realize how quickly things are accelerating and how beautiful technologies can actually be if we really, I think, focus on the ones that we all share. And so I think that those three things are really something that makes Foresight really quite special. And so I really want to kind of maybe pause with a row of gratitudes here, because I think we were quite cerebral for the whole for this whole weekend, right? And I think that that's also what this community is really good at. But I really just want to share a few words of gratitude as we move into the holidays, and just really welcome you and invite you to take a moment and to just really cherish the connections you've made, the friends you've made, the new ideas you shared here. And I want to start with a round of gratitude to our volunteers. Where are they? Where are our volunteers? Thank you, guys. This was totally fantastic. Thank you. I really also really deeply want to thank our sponsors. Sponsors, please raise your hand. Who here sponsored us? Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I can't say this enough, but everyone who is here on the subsidized tickets, you have those guys to thank. You really rock and make people come that I think should really be here, and thanks for that. We really appreciate it. It's much appreciated. Finally, I really want to thank the Foresight team. I mean, what you guys have been doing is just back-breaking labor, like carrying heaters, 8 heater lamps until 1 a.m. last night. It's really insane, and it's a labor of love. It's something that is, it's really appreciated. It feels like definitely a crazy festival to set on, but I really want to thank you, Lou. Thank you so much for flying. Alex, thank you so much for taking a leap and flying all the way from Paris, making this excruciatingly nice NFT lab gallery happening. Thank you so much, and I invite you all guys to please join us in the effort and really try to make science approachable for the larger audience. Thank you, Beatrice. I don't know if Beatrice is here, but if she's probably still running around with her antlers. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you so much for hurting everyone. And Finan is also probably running around putting out fires, or is he here? And he's probably solving something very important right now at this time and making us all feel very healthy and special. And Aaron, where's Aaron? Thank you, Aaron. So again, if you want to learn more about the technology trees, then he's the one to find. I want to thank Brewster. Thank you for hosting us yesterday. This was wonderful. And I want to thank Kevin. Is Kevin here? Thank you for hosting us today, Kevin, if you're here. Thank you, Kevin. Also probably trying to make things happen. Thank you, Kevin, for hosting us. And so finally, I'm really grateful for all of you guys. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for being this insane.
There is one more person that we have to thank. I'm Brad. I'm one of Allison's 3 bosses, and not that she does what we tell her to do, of course. But I just have to say that we've gone through a lot of presidents at Foresight in the prior decade, and we finally seem to have found a real star here. And I think we need to thank her for everything she's done. you've made this event come back to life. Everyone was saying what the highlights were. For me, the highlight was just being able to do this, be out outside and meeting incredible new people who are doing amazing things and learning what they're doing. And that highlight's been repeated 100 times during this, and all the programs and things you've put together. So thank you again, Allison.
Thank you. Well, and I think you gave me a good piggy bank, because I think really it's really the people that make Foresight, right? I think I see Foresight very much as a community container. We are trying to be in the back, holding a backbone for all of you guys to meet across disciplines. And last year we were 2 people, really. Now we've grown at least to 5, hopefully soon 6. This is definitely a labor. This is a labor of love, and I think that it's the Yes. And I got it now, so I think that's good. But I still think we're really, really small, right? And so I almost spent no time on fundraising, because I really spent all of my time for holding out these programs. But now it's the holidays, so I can't let you go without making a big fundraising appeal to you guys. So and this will be quick, I promise. But I think one thing that we have discussed a lot is public goods funding, and how hard that is to do in science and across sciences. And we're trying to do that, but across many different sciences, right? And so what we often have at Foresight is people are coming and like, aren't you super well funded? You have all these funders and all these people that fund each other's work in the areas, and we really are not. And that's because I'm doing a terrible job. It's very deeply uncomfortable even right now to do this. But secondly, also because I think we're trying to do things across disciplines. So the way that it usually goes, people meet and then they fund each other's work. And that is amazing, because that's what we're trying to do, right? But it also means that I think if you think that this work of even setting the container to be doing this work is valuable, then I appeal to you. There's lots of things you can be funding in the next year. In the next year, we have a neurotech group, a nanotech group, a biotech group. If you want to fund those, there's different crypto nodes for each of those hanging out there. If you want to support our fellowship, we're currently double oversubscribed for the next fellowship. Our fellows are most of the people really that you've met here today. We want to pay their flights here. We want to connect them to mentors. If you want to help us, I don't know where they're all coming from. The application forms are always totally mind-melding to me, and we want to support them, but we're just capital constrained. It's really as simple as that, right? You've heard from Yuan Ning, our Foresight Prize winner. We want to set the same price in biotechnology and in computer security next year, right? We have one in nanotech. We want to set different prices. So all of the menu of options that you can fund is there. Aaron is now working on the tech tree, in which we can basically have a better note-taking tool in the back end as we take notes in our groups throughout the next year to really actually collect all of you guys' projects onto a tree, so that new funders who come into these areas aren't totally confused and have to come through multiple different reports, but they have your projects out there in the open, and also the interrelation of it. So again, to me, that is public goods creation. And so if you think this is meaningful work, and if you think that ultimately those technology trees could intersect and we could all learn something from that, then I really, I invite you to join us and to fund our work this holiday season. I will.
I did not give the microphone back to you, because the way this system works is you get to love her, and so we don't make you do the begging, because nobody likes it. I'm gonna get on my knees and beg now for you, because your job is to do the great stuff, and you let the board members do the begging. And she's listed a lot of the great projects that are going on, and there are actually many more to list, as well as putting on meetings like this. And I'm going to I've given money to Foresight this year, of course, and it's your turn now. And the simple truth is that a lot of you here are in Silicon Valley or outside. Some of you have had success. You've made money in your careers, and you believe that stuff like this is necessary to make the world a better place. If you're here, I think you believe that. So there are 2 ways you can make the world a better place. One is you can do it yourself. You can get down in the trenches, you can build things, you can invest in things. And the second, and this is a word in Silicon Valley that you'll know, is you can outsource that. Okay? Because if you don't have the time to do it, if you have more money than time in particular, then you outsource the things that you wish you wanted done, but that you don't have the time to do. And so what you do is you look for people who are good at doing that, and then you take your money and you help them do it. Here's one of those people. There are other people around here I want you, if you want this stuff done, if you want to have meetings where these ideas are discussed, if you want to have fellows who are researching these ideas, if you want these things to happen and you're not going to do it yourself, here's your other option. Now, I will tell you, by the way, if you donate today at the $1,000 level, we will give you nanotechnology as a parting gift. At the $2,000 level, we will create a system of cooperation that helps societies work better. At the $3,000 level, eternal life. I did not have. Now, it's important to point out that I'm lying when I say this, because otherwise that would be fraud, and this is not NPR. No, sorry, you took that wrong. I meant this is not NPR in that we give you lovely gifts at each of the levels corresponding to the eternal life. Other than that, yes, we're wonderful people. But that's the decision I would like you to make at the end of the day when you go home and you're thinking about, is this stuff important to you? How are you going to make it happen? Who can make it happen for you? And if we have convinced you that this is one of those places, then I hope you'll make that happen too.
Thank you.
He doesn't have to beg. He just does the nice thing.
But conveniently, in our follow-up email, we are sending you out a list of our 2022 plans. And if any of this really spiked your interest, then I really invite you guys to take a look at this. I do want to say that I think this community is really quite something special. I remember I talked to someone yesterday about the fact that I remember when I was a kid and I read history books and I was like, oh, what are they going to say about our time in a history book? And I think really the fact is that our kids and the next generations won't probably be reading history books anymore, right? They have a different medium even to consume this stuff. And so I think that's what it means to live in exponentially accelerating times. Right, like even the mediums by which we really measure and by which we consume our future are accelerating. And I think that this community has this weird situation in time and point where we can see these things. The future is really unfolding upon many of us, and I think many of these people here go out and are really actively shaping this. And I think that there's so much so much pessimism, so much existential angst out there. People are so confused, and I think people here have this real weird beacon of hope. Right, and that's what you get, I think, from interdisciplinarity. So I really appeal to all of us, just do the work, right? Let's make it count. The emperor has no clothes on. I think we discussed that in many of the sessions today. And let's check back in again next year at Vision Weekend. And let's hold us accountable to the things that we all committed to each other in individual different meetings and individual session, what we're going to do, right? We're going to go into the virtual program in the next year, and we're going to have lots of seminars, and you're all in individual technical groups. That's fine, But then next year, let's really just, let's make it count, and let's come back next year and have something to show for this. And yeah, I'm really, really excited. Next year, maybe, who knows, we'll be in a third location in addition to cyberspace. But for now, I really invite you to celebrate this weekend with us, right? We've had one down, and it was really quite the party already. So tonight we have a big band. We have tea service outside, where Ocean is already serving people. We have the NFT gallery set up again, and the launch is still going on until next Sunday. So that's when it closes. But the earlier you bid, really, I think the earlier you directly fund the work of our fellows and our accelerator projects. And so I really invite you all to join us, and I invite you to party, I invite you to have a good night, I invite you to really enjoy this beautiful, beautiful sunset behind us. And yeah, I can't wait to where we will be next year when we check in. I think it's going to be radically different if you just think about how different even last December was to this one. Where the hell are we going to be next year? I don't know, but it's on us to decide. So thank you all for sharing this weekend with us, and it was very special. Now we party!